Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is finally the day. The day has arrived. Destiny 2 was unveiled today in a stream by Bungie. It honestly blew me away, as I'm sure it did with most of you as well. We're going to dive right into most of the details that we learned about the game today. So first off, we learned that Crucible is now going to be 4v4 instead of 6v6 like in Destiny 1, which honestly caught me off guard a little bit, as I'm sure it did for some other people. I'm sure that it was anticipated that it was going to be 6v6. They also implemented a new system called Guided Games, so they're going to be making Trials, Raids, and Nightfall accessible to solo players, I guess you could say. Guided Games will allow you to join with other clans. It's essentially matchmaking for solo players and clans that need an extra person. So in the long run, I think that that's actually going to be kind of a neat idea. Today, around 140 players were actually able to get their hands on Destiny 2, and they all had a bunch of different things to say. They honestly all gave us a bunch of information. Not going to go into it too much, because honestly it would make the runtime on this pretty long, but there is a lot of information about subclasses and weapons that if you want to check out some other YouTubers, they have a lot of things to say. For those fortunate to get their hands on the game today, they played a new game mode called Countdown, which is essentially Trials, but it's sort of like Call of Duty Search and Destroy, apparently, where apparently you only have one life, but there is actually an objective, which is kind of cool. Moving on to some news that bummed me out a lot, as I'm sure it did a lot of other people. So on consoles, it appears that it's only going to be 30 frames per second that the game will display in. Now, that's not confirmed, but it did appear that that was the case. However, on the other hand, PC appears to be uncapped and will be exclusively available on Battle.net. I was expecting it to be Steam, but Blizzard swooped in at the 11th hour and it will be exclusively available on Battle.net for the PC. On to some news about weapon classes. You will receive 3 weapon slots that appear to be a little more flexible than Destiny 1's. So we have Kinetic, Energy, and Power. You will appear to be able to shuffle your weapons around a little bit and kind of be free with the weapons that you want to use, but that remains to be seen. Diving into PvP, what I think was probably the highlight of the stream, we got to see gameplay of the first campaign mission called Homecoming. We got to see the Cabal completely destroy the tower. The graphics did look improved. They did look very nice in my opinion. And it appears that that's a consensus. We actually got to see Ikora, Zavala, and Cade fighting alongside us. I thought it would just be cinematics that we got to see them fighting in, but no, we actually got to see them fighting, and it was honestly incredible. We got to see some new subclasses in action. The Warlock's Dawnblade, complete with Flaming Sword, and the Titan Centennial, which is sort of like a Void Captain America shield. That's what people are calling it. The Hunter had Arc Strider, which is an electric staff, which a lot of people sort of are comparing to Blade Dancer. In my opinion, the Flaming Sword is sort of just hammers for Titans, but obviously they gave it to Warlocks. Some news that I know a lot of people, including myself, were ecstatic to hear is Destiny 2 will now allow players to launch activities from within anywhere in the worlds that they're playing in, so you no longer have to go to orbit. Some other really interesting news is instead of just sitting on a planet and running around doing patrol missions, you now have treasure hunts, activities, and dungeons called Lost Sectors, which we don't know too much about, except that there will be a boss at the bottom of each of these, and they will be holding a key to all the treasure inside of it. Which sounds freaking awesome. One new area that we actually get to explore is called the European Dead Zone, which was actually cut from Destiny 1, and Bungie also mentioned that it's the biggest area that they have ever created in a game. Now, obviously, I'm not expecting like a Skyrim map-esque sort of a large-scale thing going, but I'm very excited to see what they have in store. As for other new locations, we have 4 new planets. They were calling Earth a new planet, which I thought was kind of interesting. Earth, Titan, Io, and Nessus. Now, obviously, they didn't reveal too much information about these planets. They showed some gameplay, which looked beautiful, and the concept art for some of these planets looked absolutely stunning. Now, as for the story that we do know, it appears the Red Legion, led by Gaul, has attacked the tower, and more specifically, the Traveler. Gaul is trying to prove to the Traveler that the Cabal are actually more worthy than humanity of the Traveler. So Gaul actually has a shield around the Traveler, which cripples the Guardians. We can actually see in some of the gameplay we're stumbling around. We don't know what to do without our light, and it's actually kind of weird to see our Guardians so vulnerable. So it appears that the story more or less is going to be our Guardians trying to figure out how to survive without our light, and presumably our ghosts, but again, we don't know too much about that yet. There are some rumors that Nolan North actually said he only has about 5 minutes of recorded dialogue, which is kind of interesting. In the gameplay for Homecoming, again the first campaign mission, it appears that the speaker has been lost and we don't actually know where he is and or if he is alive, so we definitely have that to look forward to as well. Now, as for my thoughts on the game, which I know not too many people are going to care about, however, I'm pretty upset that the game isn't in 60 FPS. I kind of thought that leaving last-gen consoles behind was sort of like okay, like we're going to get 60 frames in this game, and we're not, and that does kind of suck a little bit. However, I thought that the stream was executed beautifully. The content in the pre-show was amazing, and the way that they executed the stream was absolutely phenomenal. I was blown away by it, honestly. The gameplay exceeded my expectations. I am absolutely stoked for this game to come out. I mean, as for somebody who sort of plays this game religiously and is sort of trying to make a life out of making content for this game, I cannot explain how excited I am. But anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed the stream if you were able to watch it. I know Bungie actually archives their streams on Twitch, so if you want, you can actually go back and watch it. I highly recommend it if you have not. But I guess in the meantime, we're just going to have to sit around and wait for Destiny 2. So in the meantime, if you guys would like to subscribe to me, that would mean the absolute world to me. I have some Destiny 2 hype videos hopefully coming up soon. I have a lot of ideas. Me and some friends have some really good ideas for some Destiny 1 content still. So if that sounds interesting to you at all, go ahead and subscribe, like the video if you'd like, and I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching.